Hey gang, happy Friday. Hope you're enjoying it. As you can see, I'm sitting here at Spirits of French Lick, doubling some apple brandy today. Double pot distilled apple brandy. That's going to end up going in some 68 gallon hogshead barrels. Those are once used bourbon barrel staves, brand new American oak heads, toasted heads. Get those from Speyside Cooperage. Good guys, good barrels. It's hopefully going to set for about 4 years. Get bottled at 100 proof. Be a fine bonded product. Something to really be proud of. As I hope you can tell, and I hope you know, I'm always really proud of what we do here at Spirits of French Lick. And it could not be done without the two still hands that I have, Pedro and Mibs. And you'll learn more about them as we go. As far as I'm concerned, they're two of the best still hands and mash men in the entire world. They really know what they're doing, and they know how to do it, and why it's done the way it's done. But anyhow, as you've probably seen, I'm doing a lot of research on distillation in southern Indiana in general, but mostly southern Indiana, or as Mike Beach called it, Hoosier occupied northern Kentucky. And while I do that research, a lot of times I refer to myself as a Hoosier, or I use the word Hoosier, and I've often wondered about the etymology of that word. And I've done quite a bit of research on it, and found a few stories that relate here to southern Indiana, to Washington County, where I'm from in particular. It's a word that I'm really proud of. All of my family, grandparents, they all came out of Kentucky, so I myself am a second generation Hoosier. Nonetheless, very, very proud of that. My wife, on the other hand, is like a 6th, 7th generation Hoosier. Her family was here from the get-go in Washington County. But anyhow, personal story before I get into the history part of it is a couple years back, I was working for a brandy distillery out of Louisville, Kentucky. Don't believe I need to mention their name. You know who they are. And we were having a Christmas party. Spirits were flowing pretty freely. There's probably a bottle of Hoosier corn whiskey there. Maybe it said Hell's Half Acre, maybe it didn't. Might have been proof down with snow melt water from that season. And I made the mistake of saying Hoosier in front of a mixologist that they had hired. She was from St. Louis, and apparently in St. Louis, Hoosier is viewed as a negative term. Very unpolitically correct. I don't know how they deal with seeing the basketball team on TV, but whatever. But probably made the mistake of calling myself just a dumbass Hoosier or something like that. Sounds like something I do. But anyhow, she took offense to it. Of course, the crowd, you know, there in Louisville is a little different from what it is up here in the countryside. A little more citified than what I'm used to, but take it as it comes, and you go on about your day, and the night went on really well. That particular mixologist, she's went on to do big things in the distilling industry, and she's good at what she does. But, so, you know, that kind of got me wondering about the word Hoosier. Started doing some research on it. Some history that ties back to Washington County. A fellow by the name of Short that lived in between Pekin and Salem, Indiana, was working on the Portland Canal, and at that time the men liked to have fights. Now the fights weren't personal, they were more feats of strength than anything else. And Washington County was known for some really good fighters. We were called the land of the giants because we had a lot of men in the community that were over 6 foot tall, and in them days, that was a big old boy. Still a big boy. But one of them was named Colonel Stover, and supposedly one of his feats of strength is he could pick up a 48-gallon barrel full of liquor, free-lift it, take a drink out of it, and set it back down and not spill a drop. I don't know if I believe it or not, but I'd damn sure pay money to see it. But anyhow, one of the things about these contests is all the men get together and they'd bet on their guy, and they'd talk shit to each other about their guys, the other guy's opponent. And you had basically the equivalent of an announcer, and they called that a husher. And what that word husher meant was when your guy got beat, you was to shut your mouth. You know, fight's over with, your guy lost. So anyhow, this Short fellow had a little bit of an accent. From what I understand, he may not have been quite right upstairs, but he would supposedly jump up in the air and clap his feet together before he hit the ground, and he'd say husher, and then hush your mouth. It's a little late in history, 1830 or so, to be the true origin of that word Hoosier, but it's interesting nonetheless. So the word Hoosier actually, from what it looks like, is of English origin. came out of Virginia, probably tidewater, ended up in the Cumberland Plateau, and it was used to refer to people who were quote-unquote rustic or heathen-like or hillbilly, basically. So Indiana having the connections that it does, southern Indiana having the connections it does with the South as opposed to the North, being more a part of that culture, that's something to be pretty proud of for us. And I sort of like the idea of being called a Hoosier. It implies that, you know, you don't think too highly of yourself. You're a common person. You do hard work. You take care of you and your own, and you take care of your community. And as we know, all those early Hoosiers, that's what they had to do out here on the frontier when this was frontier. You know, those early Hoosier distillers, they weren't living an easy life, and they didn't have a lot of money. So there's nothing to be ashamed of with that. Now the word became really popular around 1830 or so. A number of poems were written about Hoosiers and then the Hoosier nest house, etc. And really became sort of an identifier for Indiana. I've seen references to it in South Carolina, North Carolina, or some might say, oh, that dumbass Hoosier up there. Of course, that refers again to that sort of redneck sort of slang. But we took it on as sort of a sign of pride. And one of the poems I thought was really cool. It says, "With feelings proud, we contemplate the rising glory of our state, nor take offense by appellation of its good-natured application." Pretty cool. Neat enough to the extent that just for shits and giggles, I'm thinking about changing it from Hell's Half Acre Hellbilly Burlesque Show to Hell's Half Acre Hoosier Hellbilly Burlesque Show, just so I can see how hard I stumble over those words when I'm actually trying to say that in front of a live audience. It happened pretty quickly, I'm sure. But anyhow, that's my history lesson for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a damn good Friday. Catch you later.